Mobile Pirate Radio. Radio, NPR News That Matters. And we got a special guest in the studio with us this morning. Chico, thank you so much for coming by and spending some time with me.
Yes, sir.
We've been talking a lot about his past history, not just the drumming. We'll get to that later. This is probably a two-part series. But he has some interesting stories to tell you about his career and working with kids and such. So get us started on that, Chico. Tell us what's going on, besides your drumming bit.
Besides my drumming. So I actually work as a truck driver with Bishop State Community College, instructor. I'm a truck driver instructor with Bishop State. We have a facility that's in Jackson, Alabama, and I work up there. And I do get students anywhere from 18 years on up. It's nothing for me to have a 55, 60-year-old come through the class that new career. Okay. But the fun part about my job is it does offer me the opportunity to go into high schools and talk to kids about maybe what's their next step out of high school. Are they going to go to college? Are they just going to go get a job? You know, and it's always fun when I do get a chance to chat with the students. Back on my students, you know, I have a faith of you know, don't care religion, sexual relations, and you know, your race, politics, who you vote. Don't care about any of that. My job is to teach you how to drive a truck.
Right.
You know, and take you along my experiences and or the black and whites and or the gray of what it is in the rules, regulations, laws, and you know how it works. You know, just sometimes you may read this, but you hear this. You know, and let's bring them together and let's make them understand it and copacetic and everybody's on page. And then getting a chance to chat with the kids is always fun because most of them are not old enough to come to my class, but it's an opportunity to say, hey, what are you thinking about? What's your plan B? You know, what are you going to do? Like one gentleman, oh man, he was a football. I could see the jacket and stuff. And he's like, what's your plan B? He's like, oh, baseball. And I'm like, well, what if you get hurt? You know, these kids are sitting there with no plan B. And it's like, man, we need to, you know, think ahead. I mean, live in the now.
True that.
Learn from yesterday. So we can be better for the future.
Okay.
You know, and it's funny because I tell them, look, high school's awesome. You have an opportunity to learn a lot of neat stuff. But when you walk away from high school, it would be great if you have basic math skills and the ability to comprehend something you read or is told to you. Man, we're sitting here with, you know, mass technology in my pocket right here. I mean, it's very easy to read something someone's posted on social media and let's go look. Let's do some research. How real is it? And with AI, oh my God.
Oh, AI, that's crazy, man. They come up with all kind of images and music.
I was listening to a podcast last night, and it was Joe Rogan and the comedian Jimmy Carr. And I don't want to quote what they were saying, but Jimmy Carr's opinion on AI was quite interesting. It was like kind of like made you think. You know, it was quite interesting. But once again, we've got information, mass information. I tell my students, this is your best friend and worst enemy.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be distracted while you're driving down the road. And as a truck driver sitting up high, everything we can see, you know, and there's all these people on their phones or doing whatever. I mean, we can all be guilty of it if it's even hands-free or, you know, through your car stereo of that distraction. And so we talk about a lot of little things like that. And it's always fun chatting with the kids, you know, because sometimes I'll kid with them about music and then, or we'll chat about, you know, different things that might be going on in their world. And then, of course, now I'm dealing with adults, and it's kind of funny. Music and what's going on in their world may be the same as this teenager, even though there's a 20-year gap.
Is that right?
Know, it's quite interesting. It's fun. So, but yeah, I love the studio. I like the way it's set up.
Well, thank you, man.
And
I appreciate that.
And I'm just saying, if Howard was here, he'd probably have to sit on my lap, or I would have to sit on his. You know, just getting us all in the frame.
Yeah, because I would need a bigger studio for
Yes,
all three of us. Matter of fact, I'm thinking about rearranging everything after I paint and putting the desk over there and
Okay.
just using this wall for right here.
Right.
So that's in the future.
Yeah.
As I move along with the podcast and.
Well, but so that's the fun part about it. You jumped into the podcast with experience from radio and being around bands and musicians and newscasting and things like that, and learning to work a podcast, being the sole person. You're running the camera. You've got a list of things you might want to chat about depending on who you're talking to. And you're a one-man show. It's kind of like my band on the float. When I'm by myself, it's a one-man show. There's a lot of back work that people don't see.
Yeah.
And then now you're on the camera, and here we got our magic.
Yes, I have to be producer, director, all that combined. Do everything.
And and if you do any editing in the process, now you're an editor.
And that's something that I'm still working on, folks. So if you see a mistake on my videos, it's my fault. I'm learning how to edit.
A fumble, like in football, to me, it makes you human.
It's just something that happens in life.
When I'm doing the tricks, it's nothing for me to drop a stick, or have a bad catch. In the parades, if I have a bad catch, I'm like, I make a joke out of it, especially if if we got that going on.
Right.
But it happens. It makes you human, and it shows the realism of it all. Some people don't get to see the wizard behind the curtain because everything's so perfect.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
When you're by yourself, things aren't working right. Like the zip tie I picked up earlier. That's just something to throw in the toolbox or put in your back pocket because you might need that zip tie to hold the camera on. But everybody doesn't see that. They just see you and I sitting here chatting.
That's the thought. Okay.
A little gaff tape.
As he pulled into the studios here, he found a zip tie on the ground and picked it up. Being a mechanic with trucks and all, he said that is a handy thing to have, Rob. So I guess I got a little life lesson from Chico on that, did?
Man, I jokingly tell people that I teach a class in redneck rigging, Afro engineering, Mexican know-how, coon-assism. It's what I jokingly tell people because of being around a lot of different people, learning things from here and there. Like, for instance, I have a young man that's in my class now. He's Cuban, and we were working on a truck because a grommet had broke, and we just needed to get us through the night, And I've done that many a times just to get it down the road to the shop, or get it to
temporary fix.
Yeah, to get it back to the yard. I've run into scenarios where sticks cracked. It's the only pair I got.
Ooh.
Little gaff tape,
Okay, yeah.
It is what it is.
Get back in business.
It's kind of like my son. I used to tell him, buddy, rub some dirt on it. And it was funny because he has Asperger's. He would reach down and act like he was picking up some dirt and would rub it on it, And, or I'd be like, hey, pick up the pace. And then he would pick up something and never really picked up his pace because that's just how he walks, or how he was. But it's funny now, looking back at all that, as him, he's a man now. He's about to be 21 years old. And the little things, life lessons that I tried to teach him, but learning from him or from my daughter and the wife. I got to throw my wife in there. Look, there's an episode of Everybody Loves Raymond where Raymond thinks everyone but his wife. And my wife, she usually maintains my mohawk.
Okay.
I've been too busy to get it maintained this week. But she's awesome. She's awesome. She puts up with a lot of craziness.
My wife cuts my hair too. When I miss places in the back.
Right. We got the same haircut. It's just you got the opposite.
I almost told her to leave me 2 racing stripes on the side so I could kind of match you in a way. It'd be a little opposite.
Right. Well, you could have done that and then do like, what's the guy? I'm trying to think of the name of the band. Oh, shoot.
It happens.
It happens, but anyhow, they were from the early 90s. they have a song. The sample is "Take My Picture," but the song actually ended up being "Smack My Bitch Up." So "Take My Picture," "Smack My Bitch Up."
Okay.
Prodigy is the name of the band. I just can't remember the lead singer's name that had the roughly same haircut as you.
Okay, well. Well, listen, this is just part one. Part two is coming up, and we're going to be talking about Chico's experience playing drums. And people call him a special name, Mr. Mardi Gras. And we're going to talk about all Mardi Gras and music after this. Stay with us. I'm Rob Morris, Mobile Pirate Radio. Okay, we're gonna let it track on.
Okay, then you can start over.
Well, listen for it. Listen for it. Nobody gonna see all this.
All right.
It's gonna start back up. It's gonna start back up.
Oh, I don't see the red button, so I think it's going.
Mobile Pirate Radio.